For over 50 years, Star Trek has raised a never-ending parade of questions. What's the true definition of sentience? How far should you go to preserve your principles? And since when do Seattle-based radio psychiatrists get offered command of starships?
But as a 10-year-old watching, my most important question never got answered. How are all these face-to-face conversations happening over the view screen with not a single camera in sight?
Well, it turns out that we don't have to wait 300 years to find out. Because thanks to smartphones like this, we now know that you can hide your camera right under the display. This is the Axon 25G from ZTE. It's not exciting for any reason other than the selfie camera, so that's what we'll focus on in this video. And in case you're wondering why that breakthrough is significant, just take a look at modern mobile design. For the past decade, manufacturers have tried to serve two diametrically opposed masters. They want to maximize how much screen they're able to squeeze into a smartphone, while at the same time leaving enough room for the front-facing camera. A camera that's become all the more important in the age of all of us socially starved shut-ins jumping on video calls every 5 minutes. Up until now, most companies have solved this tug-of-war by carving out space for the camera in the display, first in the form of a notch, and more recently, the hole punch. And in between, there have been some interesting alternatives like pop-up cameras peppered in. But with each approach, there are challenges. Notches are distracting at best and ugly at worst. Pop-up cameras add weight and make repairs harder. And hole punch designs are incompatible with wide-angle cameras. And let's be real, they're not much less goofy looking than notches. So, why not just build the display right over the camera? Back in June, consumer tech heavyweights Oppo and Xiaomi announced within hours of one another that they'd finally figured out how to do it. But it was ZTE that beat both of them to the punch with the first production model that you can actually buy. That's this one, the Axon 25G. It launched in China in September and goes on sale globally today for about $450. A competitive price that reflects its mid-range spec sheet, but belies the wizardry lurking beneath. Here's how it works. As you can see, there still is a notch of sorts here to accommodate the front-facing camera, which is a 32-megapixel unit outputting at 8 megapixels. The difference is that the display doesn't terminate at the borders of the notch, it continues across the gulf, and it's been modified in the area over the lens. In this tiny little patch, the screen's pixels have been physically shrunken so light can go around them to reach the camera beneath.
Yeah, check it out. When I drop the notification shade in camera mode, you can see the what I presume is the pixel matrix of the display as seen by the camera. It's pretty wild.
The Axon 20's display was almost certainly provided by Visionox, a company that sells OLED screens to several manufacturers and whose marketing videos are useful in illustrating the complexities of this design. In addition to shrinking the pixel size over the camera, the 7 layers of the display had to be treated to reduce reflections and diffraction, while at the same time preserving their conductivity. Of course, the hardware is only part of the story. The final step in the process takes place in software. Because the camera's quality is still so compromised by the presence of the display hardware sitting right over the lens, a set of algorithms are applied to process the image and make it usable.
So what's it like to actually use? Well, if you've been paying attention to some of these video samples, you'll probably be able to tell that it's not quite time to say goodbye to the notch or the hole punch just yet.
As it stands today, both sides of the tech have compromises. Despite ZTE apparently promising on Weibo that the camera's images would have no glare or fogging, just look at all this glare and fogging. Every time I take a selfie, I feel like a lady guest star on the original Star Trek, all of whom were filmed only after a generous dollop of Vaseline was spread across the camera lens. What I'm saying is the pictures are soft, almost out of focus. And before you say it, yes, my lens was clean, and no, beauty mode was not enabled. It's also not a wide-angle camera, the colors aren't great, in low light the digital noise just ratchets right up. It's not a selfie shooter I'd ever want to use. And on the aesthetic side, the camera's camouflage is far from perfect. The phone's Full HD screen already has a fairly low pixel density, so reducing pixel size over the camera makes for a very fuzzy zone. But you know how I always say that the creases on folding phones basically vanish when you stop looking for them? Well, the same goes here. When you stop actively trying to spot the gimmick, the magic trick works. It's even more impressive when you stop to consider there's also an acoustic driver crammed under the screen to serve as the earpiece, which is only slightly muffled compared to a standard speaker. Probably the thing that excites me the most about this technology is how quickly it's moving. While Xiaomi has yet to ship its own take on this, it's already working on a third generation of the experimental technology, and it's claiming significant gains in both picture quality and masking. And as Ron at Ars Technica points out, really, an under-display camera is just a highly refined version of something else lurking under the Axon 20's screen, the optical fingerprint reader. If you'll recall, I first showed you this technology at CES 2018, and it's gone from finicky, slow, and visible to reliable, fast, and invisible in less than 3 years. So I'd guess it likely that by 2024, most smartphones will have one or more cameras mounted beneath the screen, finally relegating the notch to the dustbin of history.
Now, of course, this will pose some privacy concerns. Today, it's easy to stick a finger or even a piece of tape over the camera on your phone if you're looking to prevent surreptitious surveillance or a Zoom faux pas. When the camera is hidden somewhere under the display, not so much.
And that brings me to my last point, which is an important one. Hopefully, that will accelerate development of something Android needs anyway: an indicator light that tells the user when the phone's cameras are being used. Apple recently brought this feature to iOS 14, which I applauded in my road trip reviews of the iPhone 12 family. And with cameras about to dive under our displays like spy subs, Android users shouldn't have to rely on a third-party app to ape this functionality. That concern aside, I'm very much looking forward to the new phones and features that designers and developers will dream up, now that yet another constraint on mobile design is falling away. The Axon 25G is available now. This video was produced following 4 days with an Axon 25G review sample provided by ZTE. As always, no compensation was provided by the manufacturer, nor did I offer copy approval or an early preview. That means ZTE is seeing this right alongside you for the first time. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this on YouTube. Until next time, thanks for watching, and if you can't stay home, then stay safe and mask up while you stay mobile, my friends.